Now the Dragoon, if you read the standard, about 70% of all the wording has to deal with the head. The order of preference in the judging deals with carriage and station, but the standard is kind of intermixed inside and talks about station. All these birds are very similar in their head properties, with the exception that this one has the straightest face on the bird. The bodies are very comparable. They almost look like they could be related. There is a tendency that on the hens, I would like a little bit more bullishness, like bulldog appearance in the face. They're a little bit narrow in the face. I think they would stand a little bit better. The outlook on this pigeon, on the blue bar, the second one, I'm going to do them in this order, but the outlook on this one is pretty decent. Right now she's a little defensive and she's widening her tail. The tail and the flight should go together as if they're carved out of one piece. They're all kind of very similar. I like how this one is relaxed, carrying the station, and the neck seems to widen boldly, very similar to what the standard says. I like the point of balance on this bird also. If you imagine it from the side, they should always look like they're almost in the verge of taking flight. So their center of gravity should be in front of the balls of their feet. You don't want them sitting back, where this one continuously, I didn't play with it a whole lot because it's a little bit more pinched and down faced. But when the standard says the beak should be set horizontally upon the skull, it's one of the few Homer breeds, the carrier theoretically should be also, that has the beak setting horizontally placed on the skull. So if we're looking at these really closely and we take the beak line and imagine the ear right here, we'll see that we've got the beak goes down about 12 or 13 degrees on this one, and a little bit more on this one. This one's pinched. All these birds have very nice outlook and stand and present themselves really well. This hen right here has a little less pinch forward of the skull and just before the wattle than the other ones, correspondingly and proportionately to the size of the skull. So the balance of this hen and the skeletal size of all three of them are very comparable. This one's a little bit light, so it doesn't feel as impressive in the hand because you get more of a deep keel feel with not as much muscle. But I like the feather quality. The one thing I don't like is the line from the base of the neck to the tail should be a continuous straight line. This one is starting to settle in. The balance point is nice on the feet. You see that the tail is almost touching the ground on all three of these, but not actually touching. So from that standpoint, the outlook on these is very similar. This one has a very nice presentation, but it's also the most down-faced bird in the competition. So the reason I'm going with this is there's very few deductions on station and quality of outlook on these three birds, but structurally this is the only one with the horizontally set beak. So I'll go with this first and go, this one's stance is a little bit too leggy. I kind of like a little bit more powerful hip stance, but overall I like this bird in the conditioning and the feel and the body of this one a little bit better. And the beak setting is a little bit better than the silverhead. So I'll go 1, 2, 3 on these three now.